Hello and welcome to a custom map cast on the Seasonal Map Cup channel. We have OrangePest versus Finndeed on Ladoga Cariella. We have OrangePest in the west end of Ladoga on USF running recon support, heavy cav, and rifle company with a 2% faster between shots and reload on the rifles. The increased rotation speed by 4% on the Stuart with increased movement speed by 3%, and then the lower cost of the bars and the bazooka from the weapon racks. On the east end of Ladoga, we have Finndeed on OST running Jaeger Infantry, Lightning War, and Mobile Defense with triple Grenadier bulletins, the 2% faster between shots, and reload, 3% increased accuracy, and 5% faster cooldown between shots yet again. For those of you that do not know the map for the first season of the Seasonal Map Cup tournament, this map was made by yours truly, Trick_TV, and Talisman, the winner of GCS 2. And we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the map here after this first engagement. It's just some REs losing to Pioneers and MD42. But yes, so the cutoffs. In the north, we have one cutoff and a secondary. In the south, mimicked again. And then we have the same thing to the southeast. A one cutoff with a secondary all the way through. Fuels right down the middle of the map where you typically see the VPs, arguably. VPs kitty-cornered off to the sides a little bit, so safer on the west for the west side and safer on the east for the east side. And munitions mirrored right on the sides away from that. And that's pretty much about it for the small little log-esque yard, I guess, in Finland. It's just a small little lumber yard in the middle, just setting up and trying to keep everybody warm, as anybody who's from Finland, like Talisman, as he'll always say, I love this map because it's cold, dark, and depressing, just like real life. So I'll go ahead and see how it goes. But so far we have a rather better, I would say, opening from Finndeed this time around. He's not going into the double Pio, and then 5 Grens. He did go to the MG42 into the infantry company, and there's the 3rd Grenadier squad, and it's going to be rifles from OrangePest, I assume, into the Lieutenant and the 50 cal. MG42 looking to set up somewhere, trying to think about it. Gren's buying them a little bit of time for the MG42 to set up and fire volleys into that house in the middle VP. In the north, we do have the Grenadiers capping up the far territory point. Munitions going in the way of OrangePest in the southeast, and it looks like he was interested in grabbing up this cutoff, but instead just going to flank the MG42. Now, probably going to hop into the house just to stop dealing with this, and he does. So the rifle squad is going to try and contest the cutoffs a little bit more. Is going to run into these Grens, and the Pioneers and the Grenadier squad is going to loop around this sight blocker here and deal serious damage, and the riflemen are just going to retreat, and they're going to have to retreat through the MG42. But honestly, Finndeed not really worried about getting the extra damage there, just going to contest the fuel instead, as it is getting decapped that entire time. So OrangePest taking the time for that diversion to take away his opponent's higher fuel income. The Grens do come in from the north for a flank, and the riflemen do get suppressed up, but they are out of the arc now. They drop one model, and then he just retreats. He doesn't want to stay there for too long, as all kinds of Grenadiers are going to bleed their way in from the middle VP. Riflemen setting up here now. MG42 setting up between the house and the log stack to get the suppression behind these 2x4s in the middle. Grenadiers drop a model. MG42 firing those volleys. Meanwhile, down in the south, the Pioneers thought about potentially going into the VP, but changed their mind with the introduction of REs, and now just going to contest directly onto that fuel as well. MG42, along with the Grenadiers, do win that engagement against those rifles. MG42 feeling a little weak, though. It's going to go ahead and go back to the base and get some reinforcements. Pioneers gonna try and stick it out against these REs sitting behind these old rusted out barrels. They do drop one model. They're gonna get the neutralization and probably just retreat, and that's indeed what happens. So the REs will have to stand there a little bit and cap that back up. The Lieutenant is back out with the 50 cal immediately queued up afterwards. So suppression now coming out for OrangePest. Getting the northwest VP back under his control for OrangePest. And his cutoff working his way over into the north fuel, I'm sure. In the middle, we have a Grenadier squad hanging out in the house, just trying to control this. Can't see past these hedges. Trying to hold that down best they can. This should be light mechanized back at home, and it is indeed for Finndeed. LMG Grens come out. They will be able to sit behind this green cover and fire those volleys into the Lieutenant and the RE, but they've already done their job. They've captured up that fuel, so the income for OrangePest now has a little bit more fuel, +7. LMG Grens do focus down those rifles behind that, and with the Gren squad finally hopping out of that garrison and moving down, they will now try and put the pressure onto the Lieutenant. 222 now being produced. 50 cal setting up. Gonna get the suppression? Nope, just instantly retreats before the suppression even happens. So the 50 cal enough to scare away the Grenadiers. And the Grenadiers that didn't have to retreat are going to abandon their post and move back up into the middle VP area. Meanwhile, we have some riflemen bullying, and MG42 Pioneers are going to try and buy a little bit of time for this. Drop one model while the Pioneers try to close the engagement for these log stacks. And the MG42 will go ahead and fire into them. This should be a model, maybe two dropped on retreat, as that squad is pretty low health. But unless they don't get any connections... And no connections, just kidding. Caster's Curse. Live and ready. 50 cal set up to cover any sort of aggression from the north. MG42 hopping into this building, and that's a cover bonus over the green cover that the 50 cal is in, so the MG42 free to put their hurt onto the 50 cal. 50 cal opting not to even fire into that, going for the Grens instead, but the 222 rears its ugly head and will go ahead and force the rifleman away, and then the 222 will get the 50 cal to follow suit. Now, what's good about that is that the 222 got behind the 50 cal and was up against green cover, so the misses still dealt good damage from the AoE explosion on the shells, and also got rid of that green cover, so there's only 50% of the green cover that was there at the beginning of the match. MG42 moving through. We heard a grenade come out, potentially. I don't know why they were screaming about a nade, but as far as I can tell, no nades went down. 222 still firing shots. Now, while all this was going on, the M15A1 is coming on to the front lines for OrangePest, hopefully enough to deal with the 222. Now, that main cannon from the M15A1 does have to be completely stopped on the vehicle in order to fire, so as of that, it's going to basically have to point its rear end at the 222. But it will be a mobile suppression platform to help deal with these Grenadiers. And there is the mortar shot. The M2 lands right on top of the Gren's head, and they will go ahead and go home. 222 firing away. What are they? What? That was really strange. It looked like they were building it all the way over here, but finally the medical bunker is down. Or Finndeed back at home. M15A1 is set up, firing those main cannon shots, and a good amount of damage on that 222. MG42, not Vet 1, so it doesn't have the incendiaries. And he's just going to drive up right into the side of the cone of that. The main cannon firing again, but it has to reload, so it only gets 2 volleys. And there goes the MG42 headed home. The log stack dispersed from the last few shots. 222 finding some shots on the REs. It's enough to get it Vet 1. In the north wall of this engagement is going on. The lieutenant's trying to contest Finndeed's fuel, and the LMG Gren's trying to stop this and getting a drop on the model there, but they're not in any cover. However, the lieutenant is pretty weak in and of themselves, and a pack is now the choice from Finndeed. He doesn't want to rely on this 222 for too long, and in fact, it's his main anti-infantry vehicle for now. He doesn't want to use it to fight into the M15A1 in any real way, so he's going to try and bait that M15A1 to overextend into the pack, potentially. Hopefully he doesn't show it before it's too late and he can get that surprise factor. But double MG42s now for Finndeed. No commander selection for either player, and we're just getting close now to the 9-minute mark. VP's very even, within 20 of each other. There's the pack. Ambulance now out and ready to go for OrangePest, so he does have his squad healing as well. M15A1 will send the Pioneers home that were repairing the 222 after dealing a little bit of damage to the 222. Pack not quite in position yet, trying to find a way over. But the M15A1 will back on and away behind the house in the middle VP, well, more accurately, behind the house, behind the hedges of the house, and repair up. LMG Grens setting up in the middle VP, going to go ahead and contest that. Not standing behind any cover, not interested in that. MG42 covering them. Rifles hop into the house, will fire a few shots into those Grens. Grens will return fire. The MG42 cannot see that far, however. And with the M2 being relatively close by, we'll go ahead and start either shelling the Grenadiers or maybe even the MG42, but it looks like the Grens are the choice, and a nice connection. No models dropped, though. MG42 with Vet 1 in the north was going to try and guard that north fuel, but not able to do so as it does not have the line of sight, so the rifleman will be free to cap that up. Grens in the middle are forced on and away as the M2 throws rocks at that middle VP. And is he throwing down the smoke? Nope, just a manual barrage right onto the house in the northeast of the middle VP. So he's going to try and remove that as soon as possible, and considering it's wood, shouldn't take it too long. It's already about a third of its HP only that's left, and each shot's dropping about another 5%. But it is caught out. Now, the good news is that it's caught out, but it is the USF mortar, so it has the fastest pickup time for the mortars, and we'll go ahead and retreat on back home. Have we started the support armor tech yet? We already have it available for Finndeed, so support armor not quite ready to go. GRW being used in retaliation against that M2 and potentially the 50 cal. I wonder if the major is being produced, but we'll check here after a moment in the mid-engagement. 222 firing shots into the lieutenant. 50 cal set up to bully off the M15A1 if it does show its face, but it doesn't look like it's interested as it is in the north. And are we getting into the major? We are not. Another tank trap being built. Received accuracy very high while they were building, so the first shot from the Grenadier just drop a model straight away. This is in the southeast VP. Pack setting up in the middle now. We do have some more sandbags being built by Pioneers on the middle VP. M15A1 hanging out, trying to shoot through the sandbags. Does destroy them, and now it's going to start dealing some serious damage to the Grens. And backs off a little bit. I wonder what it's scared of. It's scared of the MG42 with the incendiary rounds? Yeah. So it just doesn't want to even sit here for this. And with the MG42 setting up on this with the pack behind it, that M15A1 is going to have a hard time pushing through. And the inclusion of a GRW going to help throw some hate around the map, and it actually finds a connection onto the Grenadiers and the, or excuse me, not the Grenadiers, the Riflemen, and force them to retreat home. They have a sliver of health between those two models. 50 cal firing shots around the log stack here and getting suppression onto those Grenadiers. M2 firing shots where it thinks that MG42 is at, while the GRW finds that 50 cal, and that's a nice shot. And the next shot might wipe it, and that'll be a free 50 cal for Finndeed if he does get the kill. The suppression onto the Grens is going to mess with their accuracy a little bit, and he doesn't want to go for it, so the 50 cal will make it home. And M15A1 ready to go, and eats a shot from the pack, but 222 not interested in engaging too much further forward for that, especially since the Riflemen are right there to snare it up. So the M15A1 is going to have the vehicle crew hop out and repair it up. Is he going to sacrifice these Pioneers for this pack? He was thinking about it potentially, and now with the rifles here protecting this, the 222 has to drop them, but that vehicle crew is going to repair up that M15A1. He needs to get this 222 repaired, and he needs to get that pack recrewed. There's a bit of a precarious situation that Finndeed's in. While all that's going on, he's losing an engagement quite handily in the south. Grenadiers getting hurt quite a bit, and they're going to drop on retreat. Luckily, do not drop the LMG for them, and I wonder if he's going to go for the replacement on that, and he immediately does. GRW not wanting to sit here for that. However, the shot does land right on the money, so it's a parting gift as they head back to base. And the major is out. The 222 hurting RE squad ready to go. The M15A1 going to get this kill if the major does not, but the REs with the bazooka, the 222 is just in all sorts of trouble, and there's no way that it's not going down here. He's trying to set up for a pack shot. The pack shot does come through, but since it is recruited, it has no vet. So it's not even like it's farming into Vet 1, since it did drop to those rifles earlier on. So definitely a bad set of engagements for Finndeed, losing his 222 and a Grenadier squad on retreat. And now that the major is out, there's a bit of bad news as the M4A3 is on the horizon, but the support armor is down. There's a small window where the M4A3 might come out just a bit before the Panzer IV, but they should hit the field about the same time, as it seems like the map control is rather fair so far. RE's trying to put down this razor wire to deny the sandbags here. 50 cal covering that while the M2 hangs out behind this grove and throws some nice shots on and over into anybody that engages there. Double MG42 setup. MG covering an MG. Rifleman squad does get around it and sets up one. The pack now trying to cover this. Will not be able to reach, and that MG42 does not have a fun retreat path, and the 50 cal setting up to cover the rear end of these rifles that are trying to get this MG42. Does the 50 cal shoot at them? No, it shoots at the Pioneers first to get that suppression. The major light artillery barrage comes out in the other MG42, and it's going to have to retreat through these explosions. Is it going to be here in time? It doesn't look like it is. It just dropped one model, and the M15A1 interested in following suit and pursuing this MG42 as they run through the snow back to base. The 50 cal in trouble now too. Gets dropped by the Rifleman, and the handbrake applied immediately. He's going to delete this pack. He's going to attack around it with the M15A1, I'm sure, just to remove it straight away and put all of the anti-vehicle pressure on whatever next vehicle comes out for Finndeed, if he even makes it that far, as he's getting shoved into his base. The master cutoff now taken for the north, so the fuel and the munition, even if it was connected, no longer connected. The incendiary rounds used on the Vet 1 MG42 REs are attack rounding and missed both shots widely on that pack. And there's one connection, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill this. There's two connections, but still a lot of health on this pack. He's trying desperately. The M4A3 is queued up, coming onto the field. And the army comp for OrangePest looking much better for than Finndeed. Rolls up with the Grens. Does manage to get that pack right in the face of the M15A1. Will it find a shot? Tack round? And he does. Panzer IV queued up immediately after that, so he does manage to keep his pack. And he's not sending it back to base to repair up? No, there he goes. He's sending it back now. But definitely a lot of pressure put on by OrangePest, and OrangePest locks in recon again, so he has the opportunity to airdrop a 57mm if he so chooses, or call in the IR Pathfinders. He also has the M83 cluster bombs, which will be nice to delete any stagnant targets from Finndeed, like the double MG42, GRW, and PAC setup. And he has locked in Jaeger infantry, so now he has the opportunity to get G43s on his squads, but more importantly, he has the Jaeger command squad available, and he has a new light artillery barrage, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. The M83 bombs thrown down as he retreats, and the MG42 braves this and takes a little bit of damage, but no models dropped. The Grenadiers do drop one, M4A3, moving up into the north. Is it on the HE shells? It is not. It's on the armor piercing, so this shot couldn't be, or is not as scary as it could be. Panzer IV is going to most likely head up here as well.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Panzer IV gonna run over these. M15A1 caught out. Where's that Sherman? It's at the middle VP. It looks like the M15A1 is going to go down for free. Panzer IV gets a nice clean kill on that. Sherman looking to contest. And the M8 called in. So the Greyhound ready to go. Sherman driving right into the pack. And now the Panzer IV looking to re-engage on this. Smoke shots from the Sherman forcing an attack round from this pack if it can reload fast enough, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to. Or the attack round order was just not issued. GRW firing in the middle. Pack going to move forward. Canister shot could be scary with the M8. Some serious damage from the RE bazookas and the Sherman onto the Panzer IV, and another set of Pioneers queued up as he has no way of repairing this currently. And with the M8, the light vehicle pressure is still on board, and he can't push into this, but with the Grens retreating, he definitely can. So the GRW is going to have to head home here too. MG42 with Vet 1 potentially looking at using the incendiary rounds, but not yet. And there goes the GRW. Not interested in it, and Rifle Nade goes out on the 50 cal, doesn't pick up the kill. REs walk up, fire a shot into the Panzer IV, but the bazooka does not hit. And M8 covering the retreat path of everything for OrangePest. Main gun destroyed on the Panzer IV, and where is that Sherman? Sherman being repaired up by the vehicle crew. Finndeed still able to stabilize here. He is 200 VPs below his opponent, however. So the focus for VPs for him is going to be top priority. But if he can get a secondary Panzer IV out, he'll be okay. And with the call-in of the M8, it's going to delay that second M4A3 or the Jackson a little bit, as it does cost that 60 fuel. But it's a nice utility vehicle for him. The M2 firing some shots on the MG42 in the mid. Drops one model.
We have 200 points remaining.
MG42 mission accomplished. We'll soft retreat a little bit and just set up to cover the middle area. And there it goes. pack hanging out at the fuel. LMG, triple vet Grens, but against all these bars, not so sure that he wants to stay, and he does retreat straight away. M2 finding another shot onto the MG42 with a shared line of sight from the lieutenant in the middle there. Does get the suppression before it walks away a little bit more. M4A3 getting the grenadiers to run away. Barred up rifles do drop a model on the retreat path. Pack here, it's got to have vet 1. Target weak point would be really nice for him right now, especially since he's just sitting here looking at the pack. OrangePest definitely missed micro. He's throwing down the M83 cluster bombs in the south, it looks like, and the Sherman's just sitting here. What is he doing? And it goes down. I mean, he got the stun onto the Panzer IV, but what was that? Very bizarre. Definitely focused elsewhere, and his Sherman just rolls up and dies to the pack. MG42 going to go back to base and reinforce. That'll help give Finndeed a little bit of breathing room. Panzer IV trying to take out the lieutenant. Lieutenant way overextended. Jaeger Command Squad out, or the Hero Squad as I love to call it, because it has every ability under the sun. Major walking up, REs firing from behind the Major, and get one pen, it looks like, from those bazookas. Another Sherman about to hit the front lines, but this is going to give him enough time to, one, save up a lot of munitions for the Stuka Loiter and another Panzer IV. So OrangePest now going to start playing from behind a little bit in terms of vehicles, but he definitely still has control of the VPs quite handily. D43 singing out from the Jaeger Command Squad, trying to deal damage to that RE squad with a 50 cal behind those log stacks, and the M8 rolling up, and another Rifleman squad is just retreats straight away. No reason in bleeding any additional manpower. GRW firing down and through, and we're at. And we do have the airdrop combat group ready to go, so a paratrooper support squad with the LMGs available, and the 57mm are going down in the base of OrangePest right now. Panzer IV finds a shot onto the M8. Secondary Sherman here. GRW firing into the south. Rifle nade onto the M2, but the squad spacing saves it so hard. Oh, and there he goes. He drops it with the LMG. It looked like he might have made it out of there. And in the north end, the MG42 and the VP changing hands into Finndeed. Did he tech into Tier 4? He has not, so this is almost assuredly another Panzer IV. Paratroopers ready to go. No munitions for the LMG upgrade, however, and a flanking lieutenant squad from the south end of that grove. That nice nade there, getting a good chunk of damage on those Grens, and this retreat path is not a good time, as OrangePest definitely waited, bided his time, and set up on that retreat path to pick up that Gren squad. So triple vet LMG Gren lost. Now, the Sherman shows for the first time 57mm along with the vet 3 RE squad now has the extra model. The light artillery barrage was thrown down by Finndeed, and the shots from the Sherman penning doing well. The pack does find the last shot before the smoke shot lands, so the Panzer IV lives to fight another day. The light artillery barrage keeping anything from reinforcing from the engagement path of that Sherman, and the pack was able to get that last shot. Really unfortunate for OrangePest, but now he is definitely behind. If there was any question before, he is definitely behind now, and Finndeed might have the freedom to tech and potentially push this advantage that he has with the medium armor advantage into going for a Brumbar or a Panzerschreck, or not Panzerschreck, Panzerwerfer, what have you. But no, he's going to play it safe and go do a Panzer IV. And another M4 queued up for OrangePest. And at this point, I think this should be a Jackson. He's only fighting against 3 infantry sections of any real threat on Finndeed's side. So an M4A3, yeah, it's a generalist tank. It has a lot of utility, but the problem is he's got to know another Panzer IV is coming in at the 25-minute mark. So a Jackson would help deal with this immensely, but maybe he's confident that the RE squad that's gotten him, honestly, a lot of value, along with a 57mm and an M4A3, the combined arms of all of that will be enough. M8. Rolling forward. There's a canister shot. Oh, and he cancels it. He was really looking for it. Is he going to go for it again? Incendiary rounds not being used. Could use it to force away, but now he cannot fight this at all with the rifles moving up through. He's going to try and get the suppression on this. Panzer IV coming in to cover it, but yeah, that MG42, it's all sorts of dead. Lieutenant winning an engagement against the Grenadiers in the north. MG42 goes down. The third M4A3 rolls forward. Is it on the armor piercing? It is indeed. Does not find the connection that it was looking for. Vet 2 pack, however, in the middle, and there here comes a Vet 2 Panzer IV. He does get the snare, double snare from both rifles, so the damage engine on the new Panzer IV is available. I don't know what I mean by available. It is there, available to be repaired by the Pioneers.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Cheeky teller mine here. Finndeed taking a lot of damage from these REs. These REs doing a lot of work for OrangePest. Meanwhile, we have all kinds of explosions happening on this grove. 57mm trying to set up in the middle. The big problem is Finndeed is definitely playing really far behind from VPs. It's 160 to 368 favoring OrangePest right now. Panzer IV firing another shot. Grenadier squad from earlier that was lost being replaced. 50 cal firing into the Jaeger command squad, not getting the suppression. Backing on and away after capping up that VP. Middle VP changing hands again for Finndeed. Panzer IV missing every shot as is tradition on the move. 50 cal retreats out, doesn't get hit, along with those riflemen. And now with the introduction of the commander, after locking in these Grens again, he does have the option for the G43, which I think will give him a lot of value, especially on the move. A lot of these fights are starting to get very stressed as they move around. Panzer IV finds the M8. Only one shot though. RE and the Major getting a good connection in the rear armor on that Panzer IV as it drives away. But Finndeed's got to keep these VPs under his control, and that's the big part that he's struggling against. Pack caught out alone, unsupported, only a GRW nearby. Vet 2 pack about to go down. Really unfortunate to lose that just because of the Vet 1. And GRW looks like it's not retreating yet. Just got Vet 1. Panzer IV is here to potentially save it. The MG42 in the south getting the suppression on and away, and the GRW does retreat. Along with the Panzer IV being available. One of these Pioneer squads, I'm sure, would be very interested in grabbing that pack, but with the M4A3 rolling forward and getting the shot onto it, maybe changing its mind. However, he did just hit a teller mine, so that Panzer IV is ready. It smells blood in the water. 57mm is supporting it along with the Sherman and the RE squad behind that, and there is the Sabo round, so the Panzer IV not going to be able to capitalize on this. He cannot push through that, especially with that nice, I believe, attack round bending around that hedge there and finding another shot, and Finndeed going into another pack. First Panzer IV hanging out in the middle has got to be close to Vet 3 now, and it is. We did have the 50 cal dropped in the middle. And did they use the critical vehicle repair? No, they have not gotten the Vet for it, so they're going to have to sit here and manually repair it, but the RE squad will be able to tag in. Out of combat sprint being utilized down in the south, and this Panzer IV feeling a little timid. And he runs through that fuel, and just being a lieutenant, he's going to be able to fight it no problemo with his Panzer IV. And the lieutenant just retreats straight away.
The enemy is taking our territory.
So managing to hold the 2 VP control, slowly but surely whittling down his opponent, and this last little leg of repairs needed to get that engine fixed up on this Sherman. It fires the HE shot into those Grenadiers on the mid VP and gets in the retreat, and with the M8 sitting there, not very much so interested in engaging into either of those, but a new pack has shown itself. Another HE shot, another smoke shot from the Sherman, getting rid of the line of sight onto the pack as it backs away, covering its retreat path. Panzer IV rolls into the middle. We'll find a shot onto the M8. And I can't believe it actually hit that, but a secondary M4A3 is now coming out. So USF, and by secondary I mean a fourth, the quad Sherman. But he cancels it, and I agree with this. I think a Jackson is needed. Have we teched yet for Finndeed? He has not, so he's going to stay in Tier 3 for a while. Maybe with the introduction of a Jackson. Oh, excuse me, there it is again. I don't know, I'm losing my mind. Excuse me, I thought when the vehicle crew hopped out that he canceled it. It's been a long day, but snare onto the Sherman, and he backs away. HE shell, RNG HE shells of destruction find 2 models and force a retreat from that Gren squad after they throw the Faust out. They will hop out and assuredly repair that, no problems. Both Panzer IVs positioning in the south. G43s are indeed the upgrade for those Grenadiers that were replaced. And REs and Major fire some shots into the non-vetted Panzer IV in the north end of this engagement, and everything backs away a little bit, but so does everything for OrangePest. Just a little bit of test from each other. 50 cal recruited, this time by Finndeed, so that's going to go ahead and give a little bit more lockdown on these VPs, as he's got a long, arduous fight ahead of him to bleed his opponent all the way down to 0. Paratroopers, still no upgrade. Trying to hop into that shed, and he's lucky that he didn't, as it would have dropped and crushed that paratrooper squad straight away. And then the Panzer IV actually missed that shot, but hit the shed right where the paratroopers were retreating from, so it still got the AoE explosion on the shell near the squad and was enough damage to drop a few models. Sherman showing in the south. Everybody backs on and away, and there's a light artillery barrage, or rapid barrage from the Major onto, I believe that's the 50 cal, and it is. So here in a moment, the explosions will miss, is what I was going to say, but the first one lands right on the money for the 50 cal, and it just gets deleted. All 3 models in one shot. Vet 3 OST Panzer IV now. Trying to take on this bunker and doing well just fine. The pack was set up behind it, and there it goes from the 57mm, but starting to utilize his manpower for stagnant defenses on Finndeed's end, starting to try and dig in and force his opponent to really just overextend and stay way too long in key engagement areas. I'm surprised that he's using those munitions for that, though, instead of saving up for the Stuka close air support. As a huge engagement, that could be what saves him if he's on the back foot, or allows him to apply the pressure. MG42 with the Vet 2. M8 finally drops that house. That was a priority target at the beginning for OrangePest, but this might be the canister shot, and it is. Deals a good amount of damage, but it is not the nuclear package that it used to be from back in the day, so the MG42 will make it on and away. And the Panzer IV now Vet 1. There goes the M8 for the flank of the secondary squad in the north between the log stacks, so M8 does go down. 2 Shermans, however, are still on the field. 57mm. Is it using the Sabo rounds? It is not. And with the recruit pack, oh, if that pack would have hit the shot, he would have blitzed for that, I'm sure. But with the miss, he's not going to overextend for that. Sherman now coming up from the south. Less than 100 points for Finndeed. This is just him needing to stay on these VPs. He's actually triple capped right now. And despite having the better army comp, air quotes, arguably, he is just not able to keep a foothold onto these VPs. Panzer IV. Gonna get snared by this rifle squad. And it does. Where's that 57mm? I'm surprised it's not pushing forward. The Jaeger Command Squad chewing up these rifles. Pioneers moving forward. Pack supporting this. And he's going to retreat on it away. 57mm is moving up. The Jaeger Command Squad's going to focus it down, so he can't stay here for long, if at all. And yeah, there's the 18 A-drops, another model. Marred up rifles. Now trying to cover the retreat path of that. Panzer IV pushing up forward. He's being real cheeky with this. Secondary Panzer IV rolling forward. Pack ready to go. And a shot into the side armor of the Panzer IV. Not enough to pen it. 57mm not inside of any... Its cone not controlling anything for this Panzer IV. And another smoke. And he's going to have to abandon this 57mm. And it's going to get dropped as the Panzer IV does delete it. But the Shermans do make it out. And he calls in another M8. Oh, that's really strange. I don't think it was really... I mean, I would say this unit was performing averagely, but I don't think calling it in for another 60 fuel was really necessary. Indeed, getting back on the VPs. Only 30 left now. And maybe that's why OrangePest is calling it in, just because he smells blood in the water with only 30 left for his opponent and 300 to play with on his end. He has plenty of time to throw this game a few times and still be in a safe spot to win it. M8 trying to get these connections, still not.
We are losing a sector.
GRW missing the mark on those Grens. Panzer IVs roll through, looking to push these paratroopers off, and he retreats them straight away. Rifle squad gets off of the VP here, which is interesting. A Gren squad did drop. It was the G43 Gren squad. Has died again. And there's some nice connections. He was trying to bait for this Major to get in close enough to get the snare off of that Rifleman squad. And Sherman now poking up forward. Meanwhile, in the south, we have the Lieutenant taking an engagement against these LMG Grens. Behind a tank trap, providing heavy cover. He does sidestep that rifle nade. MG42 does cover the flank and gets a barred up rifle squad to retreat. But still getting those VPs. All neutral right now. All changing hands currently. Pioneer versus REs. Panzer IVs push up. Bet 2 now. 1 VP under the control for Finndeed. Can he pull this out?
Are seizing a sector.
3rd Panzer IV might be the little bit that he needs. Trying desperately to hit these paratroopers right in front of him on this Vet 3 Panzer IV and just can't do it. GRW will, however, help get it away. Pack will find a shot. S-mine field going off.
Enemy has killed a machine gun crew.
I think that was his own... Yeah, it was. It was his own S-mine field. That must have been a nade chucked. Oh, no, excuse me. That was the M83 explosions. It sounded like the S-mines, but it was the M83 being utilized, so the 50 cal does drop.
Panzer IV is ready for battle.
3rd Panzer IV is out. Major shoots. Hits the Vet 3 Panzer IV. 3 Panzer IVs. Is this going to be enough to keep the VPs under control for Finndeed? Sherman's operating in a pair in the north. Panzer IV, new rolling forward. M83. Or excuse me, the M80. M8. Trying to roll away with the damage engine from the snare from the Jaeger command squad. Does get the cloak now inside of the cover. So it was a surprise. Panzer IV in the south, but can't cap. This is the one time that you really wish the Vet 1 gave you that capping bonus like it does for Soviets and their vehicles. And all Finndeed has, or excuse me, all OrangePest has to do is just stand on VPs. Cancer shot potentially threatened here. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for it. Double Shermans, though, may not really need to do so. And does he get the retreat? He does. So it will be an equalization here. Out of combat sprint on the Major now, trying to get some bazooka shots, and he's just going to stand on this again. LMG Gren's going to make short work of that Major, though. These Panzer IVs just can't capitalize on anything, as the Panzer IVs have to be everywhere on the map at once on each VP, and the Shermans have the luxury of moving together. So the Shermans just keep prodding off these Panzer IVs over and over and over again, and that's why you see such a struggle for these VPs on Finndeed's side. Even though he has the medium armor superiority, he has to be all over the map, and this just is from the pressure of OrangePest's early game. And the several wipes on the Grenadier squads. I think he's gotten 4 or 5 wipes. That might be a bit much. I think it's 3 or 4. But we'll see. Jackson now queued up. Definitely agree with this. If 2 was making me question whether or not I should go with Jackson, 3 definitely makes me think, yes.
Fresh Grenadier squad.
We'll go ahead and get him. Jackson. GRW firing out. Another M83 drop in the middle. Oh, is he going to catch this? I don't think he saw it. All right, he retreats, but it might be a little too late. The Pioneers, oh, the last one. He gets one. He almost lost both. A little slow on the retreat path there, but definitely a cheeky M83. I don't blame him at all for catching that. Definitely hurts, especially losing those repairs with 3 Panzer IVs out. He really needs at least 2 Pioneers. And MG42 gets flanked hard by these by these barred up riflemen. And now the middle VP is changing hands, and the south VP is doing it as well. The lieutenant was able to just stand on that and decap it as time went on. And gets a wipe for the lieutenant's time. But honestly, I think the damage is done. I don't think he can secure the points. He's trying to snare this. This is a canister shot. He doesn't have enough, so he's just going to sit here. And if the Grenadiers retreat at all, the vehicle crew just hops out. He also has the raid tactics, so he could just cap with that if he decides so. Panzer IVs chasing after the Jackson. Jackson dealing serious damage. Here comes the Sherman to just deter the Panzer IVs from really extending into anything. Panzer IV used the blitz, trying to back off. 1 VP under his control, 1 being neutralized, but changing hands on the OrangePest side, and I don't think he can win. As soon as this gets capped, it's GG. With the vehicle crew repairing it up. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all she wrote. He has to get on the middle VP right now, and I don't think he can. It'll take too long to neutralize the last VP once this starts ticking him down again. Pack fires a shot, gets Vet 1. DRW was like, please, I just need this VP. Paratroopers, please go away. Sherman rolls forward along with the sprint from the Major, so the bazooka will also help deter that Panzer IV. Bazooka up rifles, or Grenadiers, coming forward, just like, thank you. LMG and rifles, another M83. No, that's the Major light, or rapid barrage. But he has to stand here. He has to get it. But too little too late. Ticks down the VP, and a slugfest of a game between Finndeed and OrangePest. The early aggression from OrangePest on getting that VP count well under control, it was allowing him to just take really stagnant engagements and just constantly, slowly but surely, insidiously bleed out his opponent. And GG's for those of you on the rerun, and for those of you on YouTube. I hope you enjoy the cast, and we'll go ahead and get into the next one. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care.